Good evening. I would like to take the time to encourage all my fellow Republicans out there. There are plenty of things for us to be happy about right now. We got the White House, we have the U.S. Senate, and we have the U.S. House. We just passed a CR or spending bill that is going to go from March 15th through September 30th of 2025 for the remainder of the fiscal year. Plenty of things to be proud of as Republicans and conservatives, and most of all, those who support Donald J. Trump, who is the 47th president of these great United States. And so I think we need to do a better job at explaining, if we feel the need to explain to our family and friends and and those who debate against us on the other side of the aisle, the Democratic Party. We have to do a better job at composing and delivering a very strong, succinct summary on why we're Republicans, and it would do everybody else in the rest of the country to join us as we secure our U.S. southern and northern borders, as we seek peace between Ukraine and Russia, as we seek to become more oil independent so that other goods and services that are closely tied to oil prices can come down as well. We need to better summarize what we stand for, the policies that we stood for. I just mentioned a few. Some others are keeping men out of women's sports. Understanding that we need a smaller government, we need to cut out the wasteful spending, and we need to do it fast. And I believe those policies are the ones that drew me to the Republican Party in the first place. This guy, Melik Abdul, on CNN is having a hard time articulating the reason why he is a Trump supporter. He is a black Republican. Let's contrast that to what the Democrats stand for. They stand for chaos. They stand for bigger governments, more spending, more regulations, oil dependency in Argentina, China, South America. They stand for men and women's sports. They stand for the flooding of millions and millions and millions of illegal aliens on our U.S. southern border, just to name a few. But if you want to go on, I can mention that they support abortions up to the period of birth. They also support desecration of the White House, cocaine in the White House, half-naked trans men on the front White House lawn during a Easter celebration a couple years ago. And so without any further ado, I am going to react with this video with you, and then I'll sum up, conclude, and jump to the next video, okay? Here we go.
Melik, okay, so you used to be an Obama bro, and then you went to where?
Bernie.
And then you went?
Trump.
Okay, explain. How did this happen?
Yeah, so, I was a lifetime Democrat, probably the only Republican that I know of in my family, but I was a lifelong Democrat.
And you are, just for the record, you're from Mississippi.
From the great Magnolia
a black
State.
person from Mississippi, which means you were a Democrat.
What does that matter?
Lifetime Democrat up until 2016. I had said that if the Democratic Party nominated Hillary Clinton, because I was against Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, all of that era of Democrats, I said that I was going to leave the Democratic Party. I was like,
what a personality.
Oh, a number of things.
Because they weren't far left enough for you.
Oh, no.
No, Clintons are terrible.
So Abby Phillips asks him a question, but they won't let him answer it. I don't understand that. I mean, this is exactly what I'm talking about coming from the Democratic side. They do not know how to listen respectfully.
Terrible. I'm with you. I'm with you so far. I'm with you so far.
Problem with Hillary that Hillary alone would make you leave the Democratic Party?
I didn't like what the Clintons represented when it came to the Democratic Party. I thought that there were too many people beholden to the Clintons. And
Look at this guy's face. Look at this guy's face, man.
I did not like the era of Clintons. I did not like Hillary Clinton talking about super predators. I didn't like none of that stuff. But so I left the Democratic Party. I said that, and in fact, believe it or not, I started thinking that I was going to vote for Jeb Bush because I said if they nominate Hillary, I'll just switch over and vote for Jeb Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. Well,
Jeb Bush so far.
Well, Jeb Bush got out. I think
Jeb
probably
exclamation point.
maybe in
flames.
January
Yep. So
of that year.
let me ask you. Okay, so there's Bernie. You went.
He still didn't finish explaining how he became a Trump supporter from once being an Obama supporter and a Bernie Sanders supporter.
You went to Bernie.
Yep.
Why not Trump at that time?
Well, because I was still a Democrat. I said myself, I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm still a Democrat, and to be honest,
What
I
were
was
the
working
Democratic principles that you liked?
a number of. You know what? I'll say this. Until I became a Republican, I realized that I was like many people. You're a product of your environment. So I grew up around Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
I just became a Democrat. I didn't know why I became a Democrat. I just became a
So
Democrat.
there were no Democratic principles that you...
Well, I guess maybe the other question is, did you become more conservative, or were you always conservative?
What I realized in 2016 that I had conservative principles that I just suppressed.
Sure.
Because that's not the Democrat thing to do. So even as a Democrat, when I was like, you know what, I don't think I'm pro-choice. Okay. And people were around me like, well, you can't be a Democrat then.
But my question to you, as a lifelong conservative and someone who, deeply believes in the principles of conservatism, what drew you to Trump? Because he's not conservative at all.
Yeah.
Wrong. He is conservative. If he's not conservative, what is he? Unless you're suggesting that the MAGA movement is some other movement and not a conservative movement. What is she saying there?
Personally, and his policies like protectionism and skyrocketing the debt and America for none of that's conservative. So what drew you to Trump from a position of identifying as a conservative at that time?
Well, I didn't look at Trump as a conservative. Like he wasn't. When I think of conservative Republicans,
He's not.
I look at people like one of my favorite, Condoleezza Rice.
Sure.
As I continue
Mitt
to say,
Romney, John McCain, right?
Not John McCain, but
What?
not Mitt Romney. But,
What?
Well, I'm giving you
Who's your version of conservative?
I'm telling you.
Wait, you're saying John McCain is not conservative?
No, my
You're-
like
Jay.
when I was a
You were
Democrat.
a conservative that you would like. not
Right.
that
When
he's
I
not.
was a Democrat,
Is
there
there
are
personalities?
when-
Because I hear no policies.
because I haven't been allowed to get to that point.
Fair enough.
When I was a Democrat, I looked at people like GW. I looked at people like Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah.
Those are people that I said I like, whether they were conservative, Republican, it really didn't matter. I liked them.
Yeah, they were
Now,
great.
there were a number of things. It wasn't just personality. There were a number of other things. Now people attack George, G.W. Bush. Remember Kanye West said, that he was racist. I started looking at those type of things, even in how we look at race. And that's how during the Obama administration, I was one of those who, and I will admit, I had a lot of unfair expectations of Barack Obama as a black president. There were many things that I assumed, we got a black president now, so we about to be good up in here. And I realized that was just unfair to Barack Obama. But when I started looking at some of the actual policies, I realized, you know what? I like to keep more money in my pocket.
That all makes total
talk
sense. That makes total sense. And I had the same sort of awakening. I was younger. It happened at like 16, 17. But I had the same thing. I thought I was a Democrat. I started questioning their policies. I really started identifying with conservative policies. Trump is so repulsive. I don't mean personally. I mean politically to conservatism. I don't understand how you could, having identified your new level of conservative policies, embrace a Trump.
Well, Donald Trump was the default. Can't by that point, Donald Trump was
He's what we
already,
had.
That's literally what who
Was
we had.
I mean, the Bernie to Trump move, was it populism?
It was. I actually
To a
saw. To a degree, I saw in Trump some of the things that I saw in Bernie. Bernie was a guy who was willing to go against the grain. He was
Disruptor.
unorthodox, and most
There
of
was no
all,
policy. You've mentioned no policy this entire time.
Well-
All personality.
So are we talking about liberal policies or conservative policies?
Well, I mean, we've tried to talk to you about liberal policies that attracted you, conservative policies.
Well,
You
he said
mentioned no
he'd like to
personality.
keep more of his money. That's
Okay,
That's policy.
We talked about abortion. I mean, there are a number of things.
Yeah, I mean,
and I
those are
don't.
policies.
I'm not the person checks off all the conservative boxes in the same way that I never checked off the progressive boxes. The problem is that I was made to feel unwelcomed in the Democratic Party when
Yeah,
I'm
for
talking
purity
about
tests.
But
Yeah, of
by
course.
who?
Yeah.
I get that
Who?
but by my Democrat friends.
Are you welcomed in the MAGA world?
Not exactly, because
So, I mean-
that's because I am
You're
willing
black.
to be
It's
critical.
because you're black.
No.
Oh no, they
No,
love that.
no,
no,
it is.
They
It
love
is.
that. It's because
It's
you're
not because
critical.
of black.
MAGA-
That's ridiculous. Everything with these guys is about race. Everything.
Because
MAGA
you are
loves
critical
the black-
from time to time.
It is
black
because
MAGA
Yes, they do.
I'm not
Yeah.
so associated with MAGA because I'm willing to be critical,
Yeah.
not just of the MAGA movement, of Republicans, of Donald Trump, or conservatives. So I don't fit so neatly in the MAGA.
Like,
box.
I totally dig. I think people try to get forced into sort of you're either on team A, team B. It doesn't reflect the way most people feel or think about politics. But I just want to make sure I'm tracking this because it's totally fascinating.
It is.
Okay, so you are a Democrat by default, and you don't like the Clintons, and you at the same time you're saying, you know what? I got some things that are pretty conservative about me. So typically you'd be like, maybe I'm more of a centrist Democrat and I'm going to be a swing voter. But no, you think Bernie's the guy. So you're going Bernie, and he's hard left by most objective standards. So you reject the Clintons, who are centrist Democrats, and you go to Bernie Sanders. And then after Bernie Sanders doesn't win the 16 primary, you say, nope, Trump's my guy. So I'm trying to just figure out, because the horseshoe theory of it is pretty powerful.
No
right
ideal,
now.
but you're mapping it.
jab.
I'm just trying to lay it out. Ideological.
But
Is
it's
it
not
though?
personality.
I don't
mean,
think
it's
it is.
You can like
It is.
it,
You can't-
personality.
you can't
It personality
You didn't
is
like the
definitely
Clintons. You do like
personality.
Trump. You did like Bernie.
Personality is definitely part of it,
Okay.
and that's with any politician.
I was
don't
going to
care
say, there's
who
nothing. I would say that you don't have to shy away from the
Yeah,
personality
I
bit,
don't.
because actually, when you really think about it, I think that what's interesting about this is just that a lot of Americans approach politics exactly the way they
Think
do.
it.
It's like, I
Right.
like this guy.
I would
identify with
I
him.
always,
like the way
I always branded myself during the Obama years, because you're talking about. I supported Barack Obama before he even announced. This is back when many people, especially in the black community, were still supporting Hillary Clinton. It wasn't Barack Obama's policies. It wasn't Barack Obama's ideology. To your point about personality, it was Barack Obama's personality, because he made me believe. He made me feel.
Well, that's powerful. I
And
get
that's
that.
exactly
Yeah.
what Bernie did. Bernie made me feel.
Got it.
And that's the thing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, you don't have to like everything about him, but Donald Trump he made me feel. And that is
What
something
does he
that's
make you
important.
feel?
Well, it depends on the day, but I believe him. So when Donald Trump says he's going to do something, I believe him.
You're here at CNN and you hear all the many fact checks and all the lies, and you believe
I don't care if it was CNN, Fox, MSNBC, or any show. Which is why I'm able to be critical of Donald Trump.
All right, so there you have it, right? I think he needed to do a better job at articulating this Melik Abdul. I like the guy. I don't know him personally, but I really do think that he needed to do a better job at articulating the reasons why that he became a Trump supporter. And it has a lot to do with personality, because I think Trump is a man's man. I don't think that there is a stronger or just as strong candidate on a Democratic side. I think, you look at Tim Walz, who wanted to put tampons in boys' bathrooms. He supports men and women's sports. I mean, that's not manly. And then you have a bunch of women on a Democratic side dropping F-bombs in public, screaming and shouting at the top of their lungs. Look, just real quick, I was a Democrat all the way up to 2021. And what made me change my mind was, number one, the Afghanistan withdrawal debacle in August 2021. 13 service members killed. I'm a veteran. I'm 50 years old, and you can judge by my age how long I've been a Democrat. So it's only been recently since I voted for Obama. I voted for, as early as I could vote, I was voting on a Democratic ticket. The second thing that made me go to support Trump was the fact that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris mandated the COVID-19 vaccine for people not in the healthcare system, caring for people. The shot was experimental, and I wasn't about to take that chance with my body. Third reason why I became a Trump supporter is because they took this transformer movement, castrating little boys and girls under the age of 18. They supported that. Sex change operations in prison, taxpayer money going towards sex change operations in the Department of Defense. And I can go on and on, folks, but I'm short on time. But I want to give a shout out to all of my Republican supporters, all of my fellow Republicans who support Trump. And we have to have a succinct elevator speech lined up, ready to debate on policy as the reason why we support Trump. And we need to control our destiny through articulating very clearly and succinctly to our guys on the other side of the aisle, the Democrats, the far left Democrats, the radical left Democrats, whatever name you want to place on them. But shout out to you guys. Keep it moving. Support Trump and his policies. Start your own YouTube channel. Grow your base. And continue to educate other folks on how they can join our side with common sense policies. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.